the Prime Secretary, Minister of Works, our boss, the President of CORIN, that's the engineering regulators, very important directors, deputy directors, and very dear friends of the ministry, our dear contractors, the press. I decided to do this meeting with all the contractors handling our projects all over the nation and the directors that are supervising them, so that we can, before the public, clear a number of issues. There are a number of sponsored write-ups, all kind of stuff against the new policies of the Ministry of Works. I just read one yesterday when they say, if you do concrete road, cement will go to 9,000. And the people that were used to sponsor it are actually the Cement Traders Association, which is a very good one. There have been other batches. Both the staff and the contractors have been talking to all kinds of big men in the country. Some even I read where they said, I'm selecting some certificates of big men and paying. I want to say publicly that there is no iota of truth in any of such. I'm not delaying anybody's payment unduly. And so it is very important that I make, the policies of Federal Ministry of Works very, very clear. Number one is we put God first in whatever thing we are doing. And God here represents the people. The people. The people. And I received instruction also from Mr. President. This is my line of instructions. And then, of course, from the ministry, from big men, and so on and so forth. But these are the lines of my protocol in terms of who instructs me. Meaning that if there are decisions I take, God Almighty or Mr. President can cancel it. I am not on my own. I say this so that if you want to blackmail me or you want to report me, you should know the proper avenue to report me. Don't waste your time reporting me to any other persons other than God Almighty and Mr. President. But one thing is very clear. If I'm doing anything for my own benefit, whatever thing I'm doing will fail. But if I'm doing it for the benefit of the people, no matter the amount of blackmail, no matter the amount of fight, the will of God will always prevail. I traveled to Southwest. I'm not totally unhappy with the ongoing projects there and the supervision. I give them 80% pass mark, but not without my reservation about how long these projects will last. But at least the ministry people, the director that are doing their work, I'm happy about that. I've been to part of North Central, very dissatisfied with the quality of work, very dissatisfied with the supervision offered by the Ministry of Works. Then I went to Kaduna and I disagreed with the design of Abuja, Kaduna, Zaria, Kano road. I disagree with the design. It's an overkill, but I'm doing nothing about it. All I said is I want to do from kilometer 0 to 38 with concrete because it's on a groundwater level base. And so I want to see if I can do that. If the contractor encourages me to happen, if they don't encourage me, they are very mighty people. Maybe they may have their way. But I must always have my say to say these projects, give it 3-4 years, they will fail. It's just for me to have my say. A lot of you are mighty people that will always have their ways, but it won't stop me from having my say. That there is no project being constructed right now in Nigeria that is going to last for 7 years. There's no. And the question is, are we just going to be maintaining or reconstructing our roads after even 10 years? Is that what this country is going to be doing? And that is actually what you have been doing. Between Abuja to Benin, through Lokoja, all the stretch of the roads are on contract, ongoing. Beautiful policy of the last administration. But how much of the roads are motorable? I traveled through that by myself, and I shed tears for the kind of pains our people are passing through. I stayed there for 14 hours. 14 hours. I started 10 a.m. I go to Benin, 2 a.m. the next day. And I was very happy I experienced the pains. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu said I must travel through all the projects so that when I brief him, I will tell him the truth. And that is exactly what I am doing. He has seen some of the failed projects and he is feeling so sad. President wants to give smiles, a renewed hope to Nigerians. He's very determined to do it. He's a divine president. God is on his side. Those who think that distracting him are wasting their time. And it is high time Nigerians should recognize somebody God sent to help them. This is one president that if we fail to support him, he becomes the last hope for this country. I've seen him, his antecedents, I've watched him, I've seen his commitment. No minister puts up the number of hours Mr. President puts on every day. I know it's a very difficult thing to, change our habits. But the funny thing is that the Nigerian people, they do not call the Ministry of Works. They do not call the civil servants. They do not call the contractors. They call the governors. They call the ministers. They call the president. If president gives out a contract and pays money and asks the ministry to supervise and they fail to do that, if the projects are jacked up beyond the funding capacity of the federal government, whom are we going to blame? I watched today the TCU's chairman and the channel, and they alluded, the fact that I said I'm not happy with the supervision of our works by the Minister of Work Staffs. And he said it's the government. If a civil servant is on the way of the progress of government, he should be shown the way out. And of course, it's my policy. It's my policy. And I will plead with the press to report exactly what I'm saying. Because in Lagos, we were discussing about, Abuja to Lagos Superhighway. And we are at the concessioning level. What I saw is that, Advanced Engineering Company has been awarded the contract. What kind of, praise is that? The same thing with the Lagos Port Harcourt Calabar Superhighway, that we are just at the third meeting. And you say it's been awarded to, high-tech engineering. This is not doing good to our country. The press is not being fair to our country. Because you have to report exactly what it is. There's so much havoc being done to this country by social media. False information. Sensational, reportage. God forbid if the country collapses, everybody will be involved. So the pressman pulling the string somewhere so that the country will go down, and the pulling, this one is pulling. It is not helping our country. Look at US. It is their country first. In our contracts, we have provision to maintain the roads. Why would the civil servants, the leaders of Ministry of Works, not compel the contractors to maintain the roads? People are suffering. I had to go through the many communities to be able to reach Benin. Our expatriate contractors, this cannot happen in any of your countries. It cannot. Anywhere there is maintenance of job or road is going on, the first thing that is done is the confidence of the people. We are being taken for a ride. We are being taken for granted. You believe you are doing us favor. You are not doing us favor. This is business. And this attitude must stop. Whether you like me, you hate me, it's not my business. The attitude must stop. We must be respected. We must be respected. I've directed that if you're a project manager on any of our contracts, whether you're expatriate or you're a Nigerian or Togolese or African, you must be registered with CORE and not less than 15 years experience on road construction. And I'm warning the directors, regional directors, not to fail to carry out this instruction. In every project during bidding, the contractor will submit the list of equipment he has. He will submit his financial status. He will submit the list of jobs done before. He will submit the technical, bid on the qualification of his personnel. Ladies and gentlemen, go and find out. If you did the bid, and check what is on site. Find out whether you can get 10% of that. Find out. And so whom are we to blame? The directors and civil servants. How many contractors are using sheet foot loaders to do the compaction of some grade? How many equipment are on site of these contractors? One contractor has 27 projects. How will he do it? How will he do it and do it well? I'm not against anybody, but the present cost of the project, you are hiding under VOP with the ministry, and you believe that anybody is a fool. Nobody is a fool. There's no job that has a funding right now because you are hiding under VOP. You don't want to expose the real cost of the project now. And when you expose it, there is nobody even with the initial unit rate of asphalt plus the VOP that is going to continue with that present situation. Nobody. There's nobody. That is the reality. If the BPP says, you cannot increase your contract, he's telling lies. You can't tie a man hands and legs and ask him to run. If the NLPC say the contract is fixed, that nobody, it's a lie. That is not the truth. You have to give what belongs to the contractors to them, and then you now tax them to abide by the tenets of the project, of the contract, of the agreement, of the general specification of contract and general conditions of contract. Documents will be sent to BPP for no objection. It will stay for 6 months. How will the contractors go to do additional job you directed them to do without a backup authorization? And I've asked the BPP, you set up in each MDA, your own department. Why will that department vet what the main MDA has done and send to you, and you sit on it for 6 months? Unless Mr. President does something about the bureaucracy, his lofty intention to help this country may not totally be achieved. Engineering requires attention. If a contractor writes for certain, advice or seeks certain permission, he must have it within 24 hours. He has equipment on site. He has personnel he's paying for. But we keep their files. But we forgot something. Whatever till a man soweth, he will reap. We are ministers, we are directors. It is not forever. You will still come out and experience what the contractors experience. And at that point, you begin to reap. If you have sown good, you reap good. If you have sown wickedness, it will not escape. There are certificates before me, there are memos to go to Federal Executive Council. There are argumentations. I am not signing. I'm saying it before the press. I am not signing. If you want me to sign, you do what I've directed to be done. And it's because the directors have refused to tell you the truth. That's why I've called you to tell you the truth. If your project was 30 billion and it became 120 billion, I want to know how. But if there is somebody else who can continue signing on that project and we finish it, I'm not interested. I'm not proving you. But if as a fellow of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, and if certificates are interims, and if certificates are cumulative, it means that the moment I sign, I've owned it. And if I have to own it, I'll be able to explain to Mr. President why a project of 30 billion came to 120 billion. I should be able to explain. And it's my right, no matter how much you blackmail me. It's my right to know. And how will I know? You will do a takeoff sheet from the first principle. From the first principle. If you don't know, go and ask what is surveillance. You will do a takeoff sheet. And during your claims on VOP, you gave us the market prices. Then during your claims, you gave us supply prices. I will not take it. I won't take it. The VOP is going to be based on the market price, and it's going to be based on the market price. It's not market price and the supply price. Because how do I have a baseline? Somebody will say that he's supplying rods for 900,000. Another person will say it's 1,100. Where is the templates upon which I will vet? So please, if you want to do your VOP so that your papers can go on very well, It is the basic prices of items that are allowable in the VOP at the time of this, and then the basic prices at the time of claims. And we are not bound by your receipts. We will make calls. We will check our journals. That is what we use. And so I am asking all contractors to go back and do their takeoff sheets, their sketches, their calculations, their site instructions, and then bring forward the status to their directors. The moment I'm clear, I will approve. If I'm not clear, I will call you and the directors. I will sit and I will say, I do not agree. So this is very clear. So if you have completed your job 100%, I'm bound to pay you. I don't need it. But if I'm going to do any approval of the ongoing jobs, this must be done. If you do it today, even tomorrow, probably on the day I'm working. If you do it, you bring it. Now, very important to do is that you have unit trace of your original contract. You've done VOP, every year. Now, I want you to build back the new unit rate based on the VOP claims. How do you build it back? If I'm building VOP and I saw certain VOP, you do VOP on diesel. No, sir. You have to give us the diesel consumption in asphalt, diesel consumption on earthwork. And if there is another distance, you tell us. You are the one, because we want to build back the VOP is exhaustible. If it's exhausted and prices are still rising, how do you make claims? So where do we put that VOP on diesel? Diesel, you are using it for your trucks. You are using it for your asphalt. You are using it for your concrete. So where do we put that VOP claims of AGO? Which of the items do we put it? And so those who vetted your VOP should go back to classrooms. Because when the VOP item is exceeded, how do you now review the contract? And that's where we are now. We are at the stage that the VOP's provisions have been exceeded and prices are going up. The price of asphalt from the day I was running to today is no longer the same. And the next 1 month, it will not be the same. So far, the dollar is rising. So far, the international petroleum product is rising. The asphalt will continue to rise, meaning that we have no contracts.